So I'm a black farmer. My name is Greg Crafter. I am the founder of Produced. Produced is a ag tech company. We operate an indoor hydroponic farm. In 2019, we moved into this space, and my daughter, she actually drew this mural. She created the mural. This was our logo at the time. And I told her to freestyle, what did Produce mean to her in terms of what we do hydroponically. And this is what she drew. I always walk in the door and see this mural and think about our beginning. My grandfather was a farmer. Back in the early 50s and 60s, he was a well-respected farmer. And for some reason, he knew how to farm all year round. And this was traditional farming. So much so that people didn't want to buy produce from anybody else but him. I didn't realize my passion for gardening and growing year round had this generational tie. And so we kind of tagged this as being our evolution wall. I love growing everything, but I became really frustrated with the seasonality limitations around gardening. All these things played a role in how I grew, when I grew. And I was like, man, there's got to be a way to grow year round. And I just started researching. One thing led to another, and I learned about hydroponics. When you talk about black farming and farmers, we were once referenced as black gold, forced labor and unpaid labor to do the work for others. We're working to change that narrative because it is part of our culture and who we are. And there's a lot of positive benefits to learning and reinventing our relationship around food. Resources, education, support for people not only to know how to do it, but to be able to do it in a sustainable way. And when I realized the story behind my grandfather doing it, it kind of came full circle. And during a period of my life that gave me confirmation that this is what I'm supposed to be doing at this very time. A recent story that I was told from my mom was the birthplace where she was born and raised. The land that they ultimately bought, my grandfather had to cut the road, as what they would say, to even get to that land. And that plot of land, the reason he chose that plot of land, the original plot that was supposed to be sold to him, he didn't want, because he understood that area and the fertility of the soil was not good. So he chose another plot much deeper into the area that was up for sale. He specifically chose that plot because it was much more fertile for farming. And that's where he built a home and he raised a family, a mom. I learned this story probably about a month or so ago. And I grew up on this street, and it's named after my grandfather, Esther Jones Road. All the while that I grew up on the street, I never understood the connection to legacy. I never really valued what that meant to me until recently. And that brings me back to why I feel responsible doing what I do now as a farmer, to continue on the legacy that he started generations ago. There's a phrase that's commonly used: if you don't know where you come from, you definitely won't know where you're going. And I really believe that's true. And we all are from generations of people that are in our bloodline that support us. Our ancestors support what we do, how we move in our space. And when you connect to your personhood, it's not just you, it's all those generations of ancestors that are pushing you forward to do what you're supposed to do in life. So it's really important that we really find out who we are and our origin story in order to know where we're going. By education, I'm an electrical engineer, and I thought that that was what I was going to do in life. And I did do it in life for 20 plus years. But there again, what's meant for you and your purpose in life, it always brings you back to what you're supposed to do. My mom is a retired educator of 30 plus years, and look at her son now in education, in school systems, as a partner to school systems and school districts and teachers and administrators. I mean, we're fully integrated into the education space, and we're having a blast. We're enjoying what we're doing because we know we're making lasting impact. Family is everything for me, and that's from parents to my spouse, my children. It influences everything that I do. From being an inventor of the grow block to being an entrepreneur to being an example to my children of what that looks like, how I show up every day, the commitment, the discipline, things that I've learned from my parents and their struggles or their accomplishments. My father-in-law, who's also an entrepreneur, and things that I've learned from other people. Again, it ties back to family and my responsibility to continue to leave legacy. And it's better shown than talked about. And I enjoy being that example to my family so that when I'm gone, my legacy continues in them and through them.